So this section of the playlist for the QuickBooks Online guide will take you through how to enter your sales into the system. The first thing we're going to look at is creating and adding an invoice into QuickBooks Online. You're going to raise an invoice whenever you expect to receive payment at a later date from a customer. So for example, you may agree that the customer can pay you in 30 days' time. So to create an invoice, you simply navigate up to the add icon. So to add anything into QuickBooks, you would always use this button, and under customers, select invoice. This will bring up a blank invoice template, and what I always recommend to a lot of my clients is to work from top to bottom, left to right, so you're not missing anything in the fields. So the first thing you're asked to put in is a customer. The customer in this scenario is called Timekeeper Ltd. And as you can see, it hasn't come up on the drop-down list, which means that we haven't invoiced them before. So you're going to simply click on the add, and this will bring up the name of the customer that you're wanting to add into the system, and also the currency if you do have multi-currency turned on within your profile. If this is all the information that you know, you can simply click Save. If you do know some more information about your customer, you can click on this details section here, and this will bring up the customer information box. So here you can add in lots of extra information such as the billing address, an email, a telephone number. You can also put in notes about the customer, any tax information, payment and billing information. So for example, here you can actually preset the terms for this customer of when you want them to pay you, and you can also add in any attachments. So if you did have any contracts with the customer or any proof of identity, anything like that can be added into here. So I'm simply going to enter an email address for this customer, and once I'm happy I can click Save. You can now see that that email address is pre-populated into here as well. You can actually also copy and blind copy people in with this hyperlink as well. So the term for this customer is actually 30 days, and the invoice date was yesterday on the 29th of April. You will now see that the due date has pre-populated 30 days after the invoice date. Here, if you have got your invoice numbers setting turned on, you can actually type in the invoice number that you wish to add into the system. So for example, this is invoice number 50. This means next time you'll open another invoice, it will pre-populate the new invoice template to 51, 52, and so on. The next column that you may be faced with is if you are using products and services within QuickBooks Online. This is the first column you'll be asked to fill in. So for example, I am actually just wanting to add in a new product or service, and it's going to be a service in this case. And I'm just going to call this hourly rate. You can put an item or service code in here if you have like a lot of stock that you track by a certain code, and you can put a sub-product or service as well. In this case, you can actually put a description as well. So I'm going to call this hourly rate for work undertaken, and this will pre-populate on your invoice every time you select this product or service, which I'll show you in a moment. My hourly rate for this customer was £50 per hour, and the income account I want to assign this product or service to is my sales account, which is an income account. But obviously yours might be slightly different if your chart of accounts is set up slightly differently. You can choose whether that's inclusive of tax, and in this case I'm VAT registered and I charge 20% standard VAT on all my sales, so I'm going to put that in there as well. If it is a product, you may also purchase the product from someone else, so you can tick this box here if that's necessary, but in this case this is just a service I'm providing, so I don't need to fill that in. Once I'm happy, I can click Save and Close. And here, as I mentioned, you can see that that description has now pre-populated because I've selected the hourly rate. The next column you have is the quantity column, so I have done 5 hours of work. And here you can see that the rate has pre-populated based on what I put in when I entered my new service. So I put £50 per hour plus the 20% VAT, so that's calculated £60 per hour. What QuickBooks will automatically do is then calculate 5 times 60, which comes to a grand total of £300 with the 20% VAT included on there as well. If you have got the discount feature turned on within your settings, you can enter discounts within your invoices as well, which can be done as you can see here. And you can also actually do deposits on invoices as well, which is another setting that you can turn on. You can see down here you've also got 3 boxes. So you can also put in a message that you want to display on the invoice. So for example, please include invoice number when making payment, for example. And if you do statements as well, you can also put a message on there too. You can also include attachments to the invoice. So if you've got a timesheet that you want to include to prove to the customer how many hours you worked, you might want to put that in here as well. Once you're happy that your invoice is filled out in full and you've got all the information on there you need, you can simply click Save and Send, which is just on this drop down here, which means that you want to send the invoice to your customer. So you can see here, this is what our invoice currently looks like. The subject is going to be the title of the email, and the body of the email is pre-populated here. You can actually overtype here, so if you did agree with the client the discount, for example, you could put in here, discount has been applied as agreed. But if you want to actually change the body of this email when it gets sent out, or indeed the layout of your invoice, so the colours and what it looks like, then the next video on this playlist will show you how to do that. For the time being, if you're happy with this, you can click Send and Close. If we now go to our customers and look at Timekeeper's profile, you'll now see that invoice number 50 is open and is awaiting payment, and you can see that the £300 is sitting here in their customer account ready to be collected.